What is up, you beautiful people? This is Gary Horne, and this is the NWA, the show celebrating the past, present, future, history, legacy, and tradition of the greatest wrestling entity of all time. We're talking about the National Wrestling Alliance. And if you're here with us, then hopefully you just finished watching Season 5, Episode 1 of NWA Powerrr. And we're here to talk about it. It's some big news right off the bat, some great matches, lots of stuff to talk about. So I'm getting amped up now. I'm going to tell you who I'm with. I'm with my boys. This is Wil Martin. Hey, Wil.
What's going on? Gosh, what a huge night. I'm giddy. Let's get into it.
And there's always with us like a tumor on my back. I'm just kidding. It's like
that scab that you just keep picking and it won't go away.
And I've seen it, man. It's nasty too. It's gross. But it's Gary's oily back is nasty.
Okay.
All right. Well, there's the doc, Dr. Stinson. I don't know how he got.
Hey guys,
PhD.
I predicted it. 662 today. Everybody, I want you to right now do yourself a favor. Go onto your calendar, your pocket calendar, your phone, and circle the date July 16th. Because on that day, just as sure as the sun sets and rises in the morning, Nick Aldis, the real world's champion, will reach day 1,000.
The fact that you could just sit there right now and you could just talk to these people that are here in the chat, watching around the world, and to your best of friends, and you could honestly keep your composure while you said all of those things you just said, it just astounds. It boggles the mind. Nick Aldis is still the real world's champion, 962 days. That's where you stand.
Is that not? Those are facts. Are they not facts?
we watched the same show, right?
We watched the same show, but are we doing analysis here or are we doing a opinion? I mean, what are you talking about? We are 962 days. Facts are facts,
NWA.
Gary. I'm sorry that you like to let technicalities like facts get in the way of things.
All right, listen. I'm not arguing that. I'm just saying that you kept such a straight face while you said it. So Nick Aldis, I'll admit, cards on the table, he is the real world's heavyweight champion still. You're right. I'll give you that. He holds the 10 pounds of gold. He is at 962 days as champion. Congratulations, Nick Aldis, on that feat. But, Doc, the way that he is still champion, he was a beaten man, or so it seemed, in the ring. And then between Tom Latimer and steel chairs and just an all-out kerfluffle, somehow he retains the title, but by dubious means at best.
Now, are we going to break this down right now? Is this the point? Because I'm ready to break it down. Because apparently the version that you got and the version that Will got is a heavily redacted version. You didn't see what I saw.
Listen, whoa.
No, but I see your expression over there, Will. I see your expression.
Listening. I'm taking it in. I'm just taking it all in. You'll know my opinion in a minute. Go ahead. You have the floor.
Listen, guys. Is this the point, Gary?
I mean,
we address this now.
I mean, we could. All right. I'll tell you what. Let's take tempers down a notch because I'm sure it'll come up again later. Let's not get rowdy now. Let's talk about this show that we all watched tonight, and these things will be referenced throughout. But this episode cold opened on some, I don't want to say bigger news, but at this point, perhaps bigger news we couldn't have expected. We had Kyle Davis with a cold open with Billy Corgan and Mickie James. And they made the announcement that the NWA, the next set of tapings, are going to take place on October 28th, 29th, 30th, 31st, and not at GPB Studios. They're going to be headed to St. Louis, Missouri, not only to the holy ground of St. Louis, which is just Mecca for NWA fans, but also it is taking place. All of this is taking place at the historic Chase Plaza Hotel, where Wrestling at the Chase used to occur, which is just an astounding get. And if that's not enough, if that's not enough news to entice you to buy a ticket to go see NWA and make sure you're watching NWA Powerrr, on top of that, they've announced 2 pay-per-views. You thought one pay-per-view was good. Nah, now you got 2. Now you got 2 pay-per-views. One of those pay-per-views is NWA 73, which is big enough. That's the WrestleMania of NWA, in my opinion. That could be like the pinnacle show for the NWA. This is a big announcement. But that wasn't enough. The NWA is coming back even harder, stronger, bigger, and badder than ever, because they're also delivering a second pay-per-view on that same taping period, and it is going to be called Powerrr, and it is a all-women's pay-per-view extravaganza. This is huge news. 2 pay-per-views, St. Louis, Missouri, in August, 28th, 29th, 30th, 31st. So also Powerrr tapings are going to be taking place there. You are insane. I don't want to call anybody out, but if you're a huge NWA fan and you don't want to be at this thing, I mean, I don't know what you're thinking. I imagine this is just even like the tip of the iceberg with the news that we're going to see coming out over this next period of time up into those tapings. But I just wanted to get you guys' thoughts on St. Louis and these 2 pay-per-views. Doc, I'll throw to you first on this one so we could have some peaceful conversation here. And then also as the resident historian, I mean, how does this feel for you?
I mean, just speaking about it, thinking about that historic Chase Ballroom, it gives me chills. The tradition that Sam Muchnick brought to the National Wrestling Alliance, what St. Louis means, its ties to the great Harley Race and to others. It's amazing. This is this would be like, I don't know, a team of historians, of constitutional historians going and doing an event in Independence Hall. You know what I mean? This is fantastic. I just keep thinking about one of my favorite events that ever took place at the Chase was when David Von Erich, I believe it was 1981, pinned Harley Race's shoulders to the mat, not for the championship, but David Von Erich pinned Harley Race in that ballroom at the Chase Hotel. And to think that the NWA is going to be going from there, it's returning. We're going to be there. The champ is going to be there. I'm trembling just thinking about it. It's fantastic.
Will, you feel the same way?
Absolutely, man. This is huge. This is groundbreaking. I mean, the NWA was already the pinnacle of professional wrestling, of this sport that we love. And now to come out with this kind of announcement, to level up like this, to say, okay, we're going to go to St. Louis. We're going to go to the Mecca. We're going to honor history, legacy, and tradition, something we talk about a lot on this podcast, on this show. And we're going to go straight to the heart of it in St. Louis. And not only that, but we are going to have 2 pay-per-views, one of them exclusively showcasing the women, because let's be real, the women on NWA Powerrr that we've seen in season 4 and now that we're seeing in season 5 that we saw on Sunday night when Our Shadows Fall, it's the cream of the crop, guys. It is the top. And Mickey came on and she's put out even more of a challenge. Anybody, the best of the best, come to St. Louis in August. We are going to make this the premier place if you are a women's wrestler to be competing, to be on this huge stage. I could not be more excited about it.
Well, there's a lot to talk about, certainly there. There's a lot to talk about in this episode. But as I predicted, I mean, we are not going to get out of this thing without talking more about Nick Aldis and Trevor Murdoch and, of course, the women's pay-per-view and all those things. And I just got a buzz that, as is required in our role here on the official NWA YouTube channel, anybody at any point can take over the account and show up. And I guess somebody's ears were burning because here's the real world's champion, Nick Aldis, is joining us today. Hi, champ.
What a night. What a day. What an announcement. Wrestling at the Chase. How about it, fellas? Hey, let's before we talk about all this history making, I would also like to personally congratulate Dr. Robert Stinson for his incredible graduation into the broadcast capacity at the NWA. And I would like to let it be known that it was my personal recommendation that made that happen. And I don't want to suggest that it was because I consider him to be an ally of myself and Strictly Business. What I do want to suggest is that it was absolutely based on my assessment of his incredible intellect and judgment of character. But anyway, so Stinson, great work. I fully expect to see more of you at the announce table, and let's just hope that maybe Gary can learn from your example a little bit.
Well, thank you, Champ. I'm told though he even struggles with dry cleaning, so we'll see.
Idol did tell me that you got to be really careful with tie-dye. You know, you got to treat it differently. It's different temperature. You got to dry it very carefully. You got to mess with the tie-dye, Gary. But hey, look, you know what? Maybe we'll just bring you back down a couple of notches, and we'll have you back to coffee first, and then then maybe we'll try again with dry cleaning. You know, it's not a sprint; it's a marathon.
Well, I will say first, Idol is very particular. That is true, and secondly, I would like to earn anything that I get with integrity. And so that's all I'm saying. And anyway, just happy you're here. Thanks for being here. And
you're welcome. Let's talk about St. Louis, Missouri. We've been working on this for a long time. We're very, very proud. We're very, very pleased, thrilled to make the announcement. And yes, on top of NWA 73 coming from the historic Chase Ballroom at the Chase Plaza in St. Louis, Missouri, also Powerrr, the first NWA all-women's pay-per-view, executive producer, none other than the Mrs. Mickie James Aldis. So yeah, I mean, a huge night. All Gary ribbing aside, sorry for those who have tuned in, especially just to see that. We're all very excited. Everyone in the NWA family, including these guys who did a phenomenal job this weekend in Atlanta. We're stoked, man, and it's the work has just begun. And as far as Mickie goes, she's thrilled to bits. And Billy and the NWA team, in spite of all the roadblocks they throw in my way and Strictly Business's way, they've been very accommodating in terms of making this happen. We've all worked really hard with our people on the ground in St. Louis and at the Chase. They're very excited to have us, and we just can't wait to get rolling with this thing. And man, think about some of the potential matchups we could be seeing when we're talking about no contractual nonsense, no restrictions based on politics. All of this is going aside. Mickie wants the best of the best. And I'm sure that's going to happen. But speaking of the best, now we start wondering, what are we going to do for NWA 73? Who's going to step up and show out for that big show? Because, boy, I tell you what, I've got it in my mind that I'm absolutely walking into the Chase Ballroom as the NWA World Champion, the first NWA World Champion to set foot at the Chase in decades. And you can bet your ass I'll be walking out with it, too.
I would say that, definitely you stand a great chance of walking in to the Chase Ballroom as the NWA World's Heavyweight Champion. Stinson pointed out earlier today, you're at 962 days. That's a big number. Sounds great. I know. And
we're getting close, Gary. We're getting real close. We're on that march to 1,000.
I can't even imagine
what are you going to buy me? What are you going to buy me for day 1,000?
Maybe.
Don't worry, I'll send you the Amazon wish list, and you can put it in the description every time you do the post show.
What can you buy for the man who has everything? That's the tough question.
This is true. I will say this though. I have brought a little prop for future reference. I don't know if you can see that. I'm just gonna hold that up. So if Gary gets a little out of line, I can just give it one of those. You know what I mean?
Nice.
Anyway, speaking of ringing the bell,
it would be PTSD, by the way.
Yes. Well, you asked to join this, to get on this roller coaster. There's no getting off until it stops, Gary. Speaking of ringing the bell, I would love to stick around and chat for longer, but gentlemen, I actually have an obligation with Fight TV, our broadcast partner at the NWA. I'm hosting a boxing roundtable ahead of Anderson Silva versus Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. In June, and I must on June 19th, I believe, and I must bid you adieu. But I think you might be pleasantly surprised at someone else joining the conversation momentarily.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks for sticking around, champ, and we appreciate you taking the time.
Yeah, thanks, champ.
All right. Well, that was a nice surprise from the champ, just showing up on the show. That's very cool of him. Teasing somebody else popping by. Excited to see who that might be. As
Gary
said,
Gary breathes a sigh of relief that he chose to focus on St. Louis instead of other things.
I got to say that's the smoothest the conversation has gone in the last several episodes we've had with Nick Aldis. So I can't complain. Doc, you just giddy over there.
No, I'm just saying, man. I mean, if you treat the man with a little respect, he treats you with respect. It's a simple equation there, Gary.
He did mention something that a lot of people aren't privy to, but for all of our folks that are watching right now, Doc Stinson does make his debut this year. Not this year, this season. I guess it's this season technically of NWA Powerrr. I'm not sure when it exactly airs, but if you subscribed on Fight TV, you're sure to catch it. Doc Stinson, you've already seen him on the pre-show here on YouTube. He did make the call there. I had a little hiccup with the original live airing, but you can go back now and watch Doc Stinson on his first call. I got to say that his next call is a little saltier than the first. In the first one, he was on his best behavior sitting ringside there, but the second time around, he was let's just say Doc Stinson's been ascribed a specific role, and he does it well. And so congrats, Doc.
Well, thank you, guys.
Yeah, I'll join.
Too much into that.
All jokes aside, man, when you got the call to sit at the desk for the pre-show, man, I was so giddy. I was like texting my wife, and I was just like, "Oh my gosh, Rob's." I was like sending her pictures, man, and it's just, just a personal moment here for the three of us. We've been doing this for a little bit, and to see Rob sitting up there, man, it's a proud moment for us.
And I will tell you that on that broadcast table, May Valentine is an absolute professional, professional. And that was her first time at the table. That was her first time at the table as well, right? On commentary. Yes, indeed. First time at commentary. She's a natural. This is a distinguished journalist in her own right, published author in her teenage years, contributor to multiple publications, including Rolling Stone magazine and other things. And it was an honor to share that desk with her. Joe Galley, not so much. Gerrymander Joe showed his hands last night, and I don't have much complimentary to say about him right now. It's going to give me a little bit of time, guys.
Gerrymander Joe. Okay. Well, I will say this for anybody who wasn't able to, we got to be there at the Powerrr tapings and all of this, and just everybody there. They were fantastic. It was a great time had by all, and just we were so honored and humbled to be there, and just grateful to everybody for letting us be a part of this. There was one special person we did meet at the NWA Powerrr tapings. That was when I talk about being honored, being in this person's presence, it was one of the biggest honors I've ever had. Just somebody we've seen for a long time on wrestling TV, and one of the greatest professional wrestlers of all time, I would say. And so anyway, that person, I'm getting the notice, is here with us right now. And so if we could welcome her in, everybody, we've got Miss Mickie James.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hey.
Hello. Do you like my name?
Yes.
Powerrr. Oh my God.
There it is.
Yes. Well, first off, I have to thank you guys so much, because you all, I'm so grateful for everything this weekend with you all. I mean, you went above and beyond, and you have no idea. And it kind of, it's amazing. So I'm happy to be here. Thank you. My first time here.
Yes.
Yeah, we're so excited to have you in. And I got to say, I mean, we didn't know what we were doing part of the time. You pulled some of us aside and talked to us and had us. We were helping shoot some video for your friend. It was Brent, I think. And Brent, and he was such a cool guy to talk to. And he was just directing us on what kind of footage to get. So we're in the process of getting all that over to him. But now I think we all found out today on the open of NWA Powerrr what all of this might have been about.
Yes.
Yeah, you're executive producing.
Executive producer, co-owner. It's a pretty amazing thing. And I think that, in everything, I think, Billy and I have always been good friends. We go back a long time, and I think I wanted to be able to find something that felt right for me. And I've talked and thought about wrestling here, wrestling there, doing all these things. And I was like, for me, I did that the last time, I did that. I made the rounds. I did all this, and it's awesome. And don't get me wrong, I might still do that, I still might still do some of that stuff, but I wanted to do something that I really could sink my heart and sink my teeth in. And this is, Billy's, this is ours. This is mine. This is, I still am an independent contractor. I'm just building a brand. I'm building a company. This is something really, really cool. And it's something that I think has been needed for a long time. And I tried to do it. And, so now I have an opportunity to do that, to build my vision. Yeah.
You said right there on the opening of NWA Powerrr, you were talking about that this is, and just now you said it too, that this is something you've been working on for a long time. I think a lot of us have, since we last saw you, have been wondering what you've been up to and all that. And I guess this is it. But this is something that you've been working on, or you were even working on? We'll just say it, like even in WWE, like maybe something you had tried to pitch there as well.
Well, I think I'd mentioned that before. Like I really, I was kind of in this weird space for the last 2 years there of really trying to find what my next chapter there was going to be. And I kind of, had this envisioned, or I had this, what I thought was a plan together of what it might be. And obviously, my plan isn't always everybody else's plan, so that's okay. But I think that this was one of those things of like, I really wanted to grow and develop. I mean, there's so much female talent out there now more than ever. Like when I was on the independent scene, there wasn't Shines or Shimmers or even Rise and all these other female branded promotions that were doing this when I was around, and I got to see that when I came back from the indie scene the second time around. And it was really, really awesome to see, because when I first broke in, there was not a whole lot of females training to be wrestlers. And if we did, we mostly trained with the men, and that was just how it was. And so it's just really, really cool to see this growth happening, and I feel like it's a real movement. And it's been, I think everybody's wanted it. The fans have really, really wanted it on a television aspect, on a real television level for a long time. And we've given them taste of it. And we've given them, one-offs or things like that. But I think that we have a real opportunity to do some really amazing business right here and bring women's wrestling to the forefront. And I'm excited to try to head that up. So,
becoming a leader in women's wrestling. There was a lot said this weekend on social media. A lot said. I mean, you were trending multiple times. Seeing you walk around the GPB studio, spending time with everybody, male or female. But I was really amazed at how the women there kind of came to you and took to you, and you were in mentorship mode the whole time. And I saw this tweet from Kinsey Page, who you spent quite a bit of time with, and she's such a prodigy and just a delight, and is going to be one of the the sky's the limits for her. But she says, she posts a picture of you, and she says, I fell in love with wrestling all over again this weekend. And she's attributing that to you. So I'm just curious, as we move into NWA Powerrr, how does Mickey feel about settling into this role as a mentor, as a statesman, as it were, for women's wrestling?
That's I actually feel really, really good about it. And I feel like I've already been, I guess, somewhat doing this in a way, but more in a locker room kind of position. For some, and maybe not for, I'm not everybody's cup of tea. I try to be, but I'm not. But you guys like my golf TV set, by the way? We're celebrating Pride Month all month.
Oh yeah, we're seeing in the chat like people are happy seeing that.
Lighting is terrible though.
Yes.
I just think that I had the reason. We were always taught that you're only as good as the person you're in the ring with, and I always tried to be in the ring with people who were better than me or people that could challenge me and just really be able to do that. And I was fortunate enough to have that when I was coming up to like learn off of, and it's cool to see and go back in the locker room and see that, like, see someone like Kenzie who's so hungry and so just wants it so bad. And I can see it, and I can see it in her eyes, and just to have this raw passion and love for the business. And I love this business, you know, like I love this business so much, and it's been a journey, and it's been a hell of a journey for me, but I wouldn't change a minute of it. You know what I mean? So I think that if I could help provide like an opportunity for someone like Kenzie, or provide a safe space to learn and grow and really have that mentorship, not just from me, but for other women just like me. Like, my team is going to be a team of powerful, strong women who have been there, who have done that, who knows what it takes to make money in this business. You know what I mean? And have had the journey and done it, you know, how made it through the ropes. And it's not an easy thing to do, to become a female legend in this business. You know, it's not like, so I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful that, you know, someone cares to sit down and listen to what I have to say every now and then about wrestling. And that's really cool. And so, you know, it's just, she was amazing. And that was the first time I met her this weekend. And she just, yeah, I like her a lot. Got a lot of time for that one.
Yeah. Mickey, we've always thought of you as, you know, extended family to the NWA, even when you were out elsewhere doing your thing. Now, it was just so great to see you standing under that NWA banner at the opening of Powerrr tonight. What does it mean to be doing this under that banner, the most historic wrestling organization of all time? You're getting to do this thing that you've dreamed of, this thing that you've wanted to do forever, under one of the most historic wrestling banners of all time. What does that feel like?
It's incredible. It's really, really incredible. And I think, you know, I look at because I've obviously watched everything with the NWA from the sidelines, and have been full of support, because it's my husband, it's Billy, I love what they're doing. I love the way they present the product. It's so different. It's so raw and unique. And I love it. It's like, it's what wrestling is to me. That's the, you know, type of wrestling I grew up on. And I love the elements of how we've grown and evolved and all these things, but there is something to be said for the business itself. And it's still, the word wrestling still belongs in it. You know what I mean? Like, that's the business that I fell in love with. And I think that, you know, even with the history of the women's championship, you know, like, and you know, there's definitely an opportunity to bring back the women's tag team championships. You know, there's so many things that we can do. And I think the beautiful thing is that, you know, we're all friends here. Like, I don't want bad blood with anybody. I think that Billy's so much in the same way. That's why there's so many open relationships. And so there's the potential to be able to do some really, really cool stuff that you're not going to see anywhere else. There's going to be tons of opportunities to just build women's wrestling the right way. You know what I mean? And I think in 80 years of wrestling, you know, on television, we've only seen it from a male's perspective. You know, we've only seen women's storylines from a male's perspective, and that's okay. That's how we got this, you know, to here now. But I think that at this time, now, this day and age, there is an immense amount of uber talented and knowledgeable women who know how to make money in this business that can really help build the foundation and really like be that core that helps grow women's wrestling as a whole, you know. And so it's all about that end goal. And I feel like the united we stand. And if that would be really cool for me, you know. Yeah, I feel like I have so much history at Ring of Honor. That's where I probably got my first big break out of Maryland Championship Wrestling, and was able to do so much stuff with Bear, with AJ, with Red, with, you know, to then get found by Raven there and then go on to TNA and do so much stuff there, to then go on to my amazing career that I had at WWE and do so much stuff there, but then to go back to TNA and almost reinvent myself and still stay relevant and still stay in a space that hopefully people wanted to see me. And then, you know, and a lot of people, you know, especially women, don't get a second chance to go back, you know, to WWE. Like most women don't. And I was afforded that opportunity, and loved it there, and I love the girls there, and I think that they even in their hearts know that this is something that we all want. Everybody wants this, and now to be able to, partner up with Billy, who is my friend and who I trust and who believes in me, and actually, is like just opening this door to allow me to build it exactly how I want. Like that's pretty amazing, and it's crazy to me that it took, a man in the music industry who loves wrestling to make this happen for me. You know what I mean? As I am someone in the wrestling industry who loves music as much as, you know what I mean? It's just a crazy, ironic thing that it's amazing. And I think that the stars all aligned. And I think that the original intention was to perhaps do some stuff before and then announce this, but the stars lined up, and then this Chase Stadium, it's wrestling at the Chase, and it just felt right. It felt right. And it's right before my birthday, but we don't have to celebrate that day. We're going to celebrate before on the 28th.
Perfect. I love it. I mean, this is all historical, and this all sounds fantastic. I don't want to keep you very long because I know you're very busy, and also if Nick is doing something with fire right now, I don't know who's watching the kid, but
yeah. Well, I apologize that I didn't dress up for you guys today and the button down and all that. I'm only wearing my Marilyn Monroe t-shirt and sweats because I've literally had 2 hours of sleep.
Oh, wow. Well, we are honored again then that you even
Gary.
You guys, well, I mean, you're going off 2 hours sleep, and here you are,
and you still look like $1 million. I mean, you still look like a rock star. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Well, Mickey, I'm hoping this won't be the last time that we get to talk to you anyway, and so that and especially as we get closer to this big show, and I think I'm excited to see what kind of information we get, and what kind of news breaks about. You dropped a couple of hints in there. I mean, even mentioning the tag team titles, I saw Will's eyes light up, and so
not since I'm like going back. I'm like, it's not since the 82 or 86, and I feel like Moolah took them to the to WWE at that time, and they've not been seen since.
Yeah, so there you go.
Man, it would be really cool to see him again.
Well, one last thing real quick. I know since you obviously have a respect for the history of wrestling, the women's championship in NWA, listen, you're obviously a multi-time world champion. You've established yourself as one of, like we said right up top, the greatest wrestlers of all time. You are a legend in this business. But you have not held the Burke, which, have
not held the Burke.
If we could just take a second to say that name, I think we coined that term, and we were so happy to hear.
That's really clever, and I like it. I really like it.
But so would that be something that could entice you to maybe jump back in the ring under Billy Corgan's banner here, the NWA?
That might, yeah. I mean, obviously. I mean, I love a bit of gold. I don't know if you've seen all the sparkles. I enjoy all the bedazzles, all the accessories. I could use an extra 10 pounds. No, but
Well, I mean, we could also take you. I bet that match would be very entertaining.
Well, of course, but I don't, honestly, and I know people are probably wondering if I'm actually going to wrestle on my show, and I don't have intentions of wrestling on my show because I'm not in here to go into business for myself and just, wrestle all my favorite people on my own show. That doesn't make sense. And plus, how can I run a show if I'm in the ring, So,
right.
But there perhaps might be a chance to do something on, the NWA show in that aspect. So, I don't know. I don't know.
We'll keep our eyes open for that. I feel it just adds to the legacy. It just, I have to tell you, it would.
It does. Well, you put me in a bit of a precarious situation because Camille is the champion right now, and she's holding the Burke, and she's aligned with my husband here, and so,
That's interesting.
When business, it's like,
Don't let Gary pigeonhole you into a situation. He's doing now what he does to me all the time. He's trying to drive a wedge between you and strictly business. And we cannot let this.
That's not.
This
I would never.
This great announcement. Well, you're doing it, Gary. You're doing it again. You're taking this occasion to put yourself over. And I'm
how is that putting me over? I'm talking about the legendary career of Mickie James here. Mickie, I won't get you mixed up in all of this nonsense. You are lovely, and you've been nothing but sweet to us.
Touch on this for a minute because I think about this and I see all this, and you have to I admire my husband. He's a hell of a champion. He's held that championship for a long time now, and I think what he's been able to do and all this stuff was strictly business. And Camille's a great champion. It's unfortunate that she took the championship from one of my dearest friends who I love and admire and respect, but I'm kind of, you have to admit that she's a force to be reckoned with, so I'm not, don't try to drive a wedge between me and my husband. That's not,
I would not do that, Mickie. I feel like you're souring the relationship.
No, I don't want to do that. No bad blood, No,
I blame Doc Stinson. I don't blame you. You're obviously. I mean, if I could say so, you're nicer than your husband so far. So
well, we knew that.
Well, Mickie James, thank you so much for being here. We greatly appreciate you taking time out to come hang out with us. It's again, I've said honor enough times, but I can't say it enough. It feels like it just we're so grateful to have you take the time with us this weekend and right now. So
I'm honored, and you might be seeing a whole lot more of me, and I might just steal all Nick's time on the show. So I don't know.
I would personally.
That's fine with us. Yeah,
not all.
I would welcome that. All right, thank you, Mickie.
Thanks, guys.
Bye. Thanks, appreciate it. Man.
All right, well, there's Mickie James. Thanks so much to her for showing up. This whole show just went a whole different direction. We've had Nick Aldis and Mickie James all in one show. This is why you have to watch the post show, because you never know who's going to show up. It's incredible. But anyway, so thanks for trying to bury me there to wrestling legend, Doc. I appreciate that.
No, I just find it funny that we have this chance to put over this great announcement, and you want to bring in that you want to make this about strictly business, okay? And that's
I would never do that.
Conspiracy grows wider.
First of all, I don't know why you think I want to guide the show to talking about strictly business. It's close to I don't know what my least favorite thing to talk about is on this show, but it's right there somewhere. And so anyway, so as a matter of fact, I feel like we can just skip right over. Part of the job here is to do a recap of the show. But let's skip right over the first part with strictly business. So let's go into another champion. Dare I say, a fighting champion, a man who honorably each and every time he gets in the ring defends his championship, and that's the Pope, who is the television champion. And he took on a great competitor here in Luke Hawx. We've seen Luke along with his son, PJ Hawx on a few different shows now with the NWA. They have like their, is it Wildcat, I think is their promotion out of Louisiana. And so they're well-versed in professional wrestling, and you can see it here tonight. Luke Hawx, seemingly for some, might be coming out of nowhere, but he is no new blood in the wrestling ring.
No. You think about the people that have gone through the Wildcat school. You got to look at. I mean, there are greats that have come through his school, and I'm talking guys like Stevie Richards graduated from Wildcat. So people who know this business know who Hawx are. Trust me.
Yeah. And tonight he proved it, I think, in the middle of the ring with the Pope for the TV title. Unfortunately, wasn't able to get the job done, but a hell of a match between those two for that title. Pope able to pull it out there at the end. But just any thoughts on this, Will, like as far as Pope versus Luke Hawx?
Yeah, I mean, this was just super physical match, a lot of athleticism. I mean, both of these guys, I mean, we knew it from the TV champ, the Pope, but to see it in a guy, like Luke, it was one of those matches that reminded me why I love the TV title. I love the TV title because these are the kinds of matches that it's defended in. I mean, it's always guys that can go the distance. And I mean, he got within 1 minute of that time limit. I thought it might go to a time limit draw, or I thought Luke might pull it out, man. He had Pope in several precarious positions and holds that, I mean, looked like he was in control of this match. And there was a great show of respect at the end of the match where Pope shook his hand, picked him up, shook his son PJ's hand. And, so matches like this are one of the things I love about wrestling. It doesn't always have to be seething hate. Yes, those are interesting. Sometimes it's just two guys that respect each other, that respect the sport, but they just want the same piece of gold, and that's prize fighting. And this was a fantastic prize fight.
Doc, I know the kind of stuff you're into, but do you also like dig some of the respectful professional wrestling, just clean match between two guys?
Look, Gary. Okay, I'm going to let that go for the time being. Okay, I have to agree with everything that Will said. The television championship is a special title, and this is the kind of championship that is made for a man like Luke Hawx, a guy who's been in the career for 2 decades. Now he's morphing, and the guy's still in great shape. By the way, I don't mean that because he's morphing into this role that somehow he's like over the hill or anything like that. He looks great. He's moving fast. He's got all the skill sets there for him to move into any championship discussion. But this being a fighting championship, this is custom made for a guy like Luke Hawx. He also has that. He also has a son by his side. And so he's there no matter what he's doing. When he's in the ring, he's always illustrating, always demonstrating, always teaching. And people who nothing teaches you like teaching others. I always tell in the classroom the one doing the talking is doing the learning. And so as Luke is getting out there demonstrating to PJ, he's also honing his craft, and he's going to be around for a long, long time. And it's really fun to watch this. But the problem right now with this situation is you got the Pope. And the Pope is, man, it's been a long time since we've had a TV championship make it to a successful 5th defense. And by that, I mean not losing the title. That's all you got to do is not lose, right? Time limit draw or a victory.
Right.
And who has the Pope been through? This has not been a cakewalk. Some of the baddest men in the business, Tom Latimer, or as the Pope likes to say, Tom Latimer. You got Tyrus. You got Matt Cross, who I know Will's a big fan of. Fred Rosser, and today he drew Luke Hawx. So the Pope has earned every single one of these successful defenses. He's earned them all. And my hat's off to both of them. Great match. Maybe the match of the night.
Yeah, I agree. I think this was amazing. And as you pointed out, this is the 5th defense from the Pope. So here we are, 2 wins away from the Lucky 7. And we all know what that means. Lucky 7 means he gets to cash that thing in and get a World Heavyweight Championship shot. So it's going to be interesting to see how the Pope goes this season in Powerrr, and if he can hang on to that. Who knows? I mean, that might be your main event in St. Louis at NWA 73, Nick Aldis was talking about. I mean, the Pope could be on his way to challenging for that World's Heavyweight Championship. That could be a good matchup, a marquee matchup if I've ever seen one. Pope has, Aldis was first, but Pope has slowly moved himself into a position in the NWA where he's become a foundational aspect of the company, it feels like right now. I think a lot of people tune in to watch Pope. So excited to see where he goes from here. Next up, I guess let's talk about this little part where May Valentine is hanging out and she's talking to Kyle Davis and they're wearing their NWA merch and all that. By the way, if I could just throw in a side note, that hat, my hat, part of the reason why I don't have it today is because people kept asking for it. Not really asking for it, but Kyle did. And so he was wearing my hat and May was wearing Rob's hoodie, I do believe. And he's very proud of that and will never wash it again.
I will never wash it again.
That out of the way. I also don't have the hat now because our boy JTG now has that hat. So he was looking for one, and I just gave it to him because he's JTG, and so that's what we do. And I've got another one somewhere. Anyway, all that out of the way. Kyle Davis is with May Valentine, but they're interrupted by the mystery man, who is standing behind them in his mask. Good-looking fella, as far as I could tell. He's got a mask on, so I don't know for sure. But there he is, the mystery man. Well, we don't know a lot. He's there because he's supposed to be there. And I mean, there was not really a lot to go on. He just doesn't give a name. He doesn't he just says, he's there because William Patrick Corgan told him to be, and William Patrick Corgan signed him, and apparently William Patrick Corgan is the only person who knows who he is. I don't know. Will, what are your thoughts on the mystery man?
Yeah, it's definitely puzzling. It's like you said. I mean, he said that William Patrick Corgan knows his identity. He's there under obligation from William Patrick Corgan to come into the NWA, a place where wrestling is wrestling and respected. And but he didn't elaborate or shed any light on what his role in the NWA is supposed to be, what his mission is, anything like that. Very cryptic and very guarded. He just seemed like he just wanted to come out and be seen and then leave. So, yeah, more questions than answers there.
Doc, how you feeling about Mystery Man?
I'm very unsettled by it. I mean, we tried to get him for an interview ourselves. He said nothing to us. We saw him for maybe 2 minutes the entire time. But if he's claiming that Conspiracy Corgan has brought him in, then it really unsettles me. The depths that this president will go to, and anything that Conspiracy Corgan or Gerrymander Joe Galley have their hand in, it unsettles me. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know what to make of it, fellas.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the boat we're all in right now, and so we'll find out, I'm sure, as this season progresses in NWA Powerrr, what the Mystery Man is all about. Next up, we had a matchup between Taryn Terrell and Lady Frost. Two great new competitors on this season of Powerrr. I mean, we saw Taryn last season, but she was never in-ring action. But here she was. I'd love to tell you that this match was match of the night, or that it was very good. But all the information we really got about it was that, according to commentary, it was something about the money issues or something. Maybe I think got dropped in there somewhere, but I don't know. It was two ladies fighting, and Taryn Terrell seemed to want nothing from Lady Frost, and she ended up just hanging out at the podium with Kyle most of the time and talking about what an honor it was for Lady Frost to be in the ring with her. And Rob, why are you looking like that right now?
I thought Taryn Terrell composed herself fine. I thought she had a great showing. She's demonstrated why she's one of the most respected and talented women in the business. And no shade on Lady Frost. I was delighted to see her. She looked fantastic too. But look, man, you are selling shade by the gallons, man. And I don't.
First of all, I would not throw shade at Taryn Terrell. That is not what I'm saying. I'm just saying, I mean, what everybody saw on their screens, they saw her sit behind the podium and tell Lady Frost what an honor it was.
I don't know. I saw her get a clean pinfall. Gary.
Anyway,
I hate it when he's right, though. Like it's few and far between, but sometimes he's right, and he's right. She got a clean pinfall. It was kind of discombobulated. She did spend some time at the podium. She did spend a lot of time seemingly convincing Lady Frost what an honor she was experiencing by facing her. I personally don't think anything about this was exciting to Lady Frost, so I am assuming we're going to see some fallout from this, and she's going to be pretty angry. So we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I will just say that I'm questioning her methods, but it was a fair, clean pinfall. That's all I'll go with. So, congrats to Taryn Terrell for the victory, and Lady Frost. I'm sure we've not seen the last of her. Very talented wrestler, and maybe next time she'll get a chance to show you. Next up. I love Rob's facial expressions sometimes. Just anytime I say anything.
How about face looks, man?
Well, I love your face, then, Rob. Look at that. How about
although if you wanted to wear a mask, I wouldn't be mad. Just saying.
Maybe Doc is the mystery man.
I did not see them together this weekend at all, so I can't speculate. Or
that is a good point. But Doc would never stoop to supporting conspiracy Corgan or working deals with him. So I'm not sure.
Unless
you're right. But our physiques do line up. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
So,
all right, moving on.
Checks out to me.
Kyle Davis is with Austin Idol and Tyrus there at the booth, and Tyrus has a lot to say about. Well, Idol very mean to Kyle in this one. He was kind of brutal to him, and even Tyrus kind of winced a little bit. And anyway, but just a nice little segment here where Tyrus is basically they're expressing their disdain for the competition in the NWA and the fact that Pope never beat Tyrus for the TV title and that sort of thing, and they feel like they deserve a little bit of extra attention, which I can't argue with. Tyrus has been a pretty unstoppable force so far in the NWA, a very scary big man. We did see him up close and personal, and he is a very large person, and he's very scary. Although he did make a video for my mother-in-law, so I do appreciate that about him. I probably shouldn't give that away out here, but it was only because she was a huge Tyrus supporter, so for whatever that's worth. But there you go. Doc, how do you feel about Tyrus and Idol and what they're saying on this one?
I mean, I have to listen. One of the opponents that Pope, I'm not going to say defeated, but survived was Tom Latimer. So we're not talking about a bunch of tomato cans here. Okay. I have to take issue with that. However, I get what they're doing. I get that you've got a psychological game of chess going on here, and Idol is one of the best in the game at doing that. So I don't think the intention was to dismiss anything or anyone that Pope has been through, but it's to set, I mean, they're playing chess, bro. They're playing chess. A lot of other people out there are playing tiddlywinks. They're playing chess.
Well, one thing I forgot to mention there too is, and you can speak on that before and this, is that they were also interrupted by Black G's. He comes in and he introduces himself and he intimates that he has something, a business deal or something he wants to share with them that might make them more profitable if they could give him 5 minutes. And Tyrus just basically dismisses that. So an introduction to this new person, Black G's, on top of the Idol and Tyrus promo here. I should have said promo. Interview.
Yeah, like I think they're very high on the fact that Tyrus now suddenly has this like magic punch. I think we all know what that's about. And they are fixated on Pope. And so this all makes sense. Pope has a target on his back. He's a champion. But as you mentioned, Black G's coming out, a business proposition. Tyrus said, basically, no thanks, walk through the curtain. I don't know what that's about. I have no clue. But it's intriguing. I mean, Tyrus seems to have his hands full with Austin Idol and, listening to him speak all the time and, with what he's got going on with Pope. So I'm not sure he's wanting to entertain a business idea right now, but.
Yeah. Rob, that punch is commonly called the heart punch, I believe, that they're working with right now. How do you feel about that move? That's got some historic value, right?
It does, but I got to hold on now. What the little Will, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. The little subtle little thing. What are you talking about? We know what that's about. We're talking about a punch from one of the most devastating men in the business. Solid brute strength. That's what that is.
Okay, then that's what I was said.
Okay, that's all I got to say about it.
Listen, you're the one now trying to put a wedge between me and Tyrus. Don't you do that? I don't have issue with that, man.
Nobody wants that smoke. So no, you don't want to do that, Rob. If you want this podcast to stay healthy, you need to pick your battles so that we don't need Tyrus coming on here. And we talk to some of these people in the back. I avoid strictly business pretty much, but just
no, you don't avoid them. I saw you following them around the whole weekend. Sir, Mr. Adonis, Mr. Latimer, Mr. Aldous, and you weren't avoiding them. They were avoiding you, Gary. They were avoiding you. Let's call a spade a spade. I was there too, and so was Will, and we all know it to be true.
That
Move
did
along,
not
please.
happen. All right. Well, fine. So anyway, this is a big one too. Another huge debut. This episode was full of exciting new prospects on NWA Powerrr. You had, well, I guess before I get there, let's talk about May Valentine sitting down with Trevor Murdoch.
Let me suggest, because I think we're going to get sidetracked on that segment.
Okay.
Can we just move on to the tag match, and then we'll come back to that? Okay. Well, let's finish up with that.
Yeah, that's a good idea, Doc. So Bestia 666 and Mecha Wolf, the La Rebelión took on the End. And I don't know what anybody expected to happen here. We've seen these guys in the pay-per-view, and we saw how they acted there. I don't know where Doc went. He just disappeared off the screen. And so, I moved him. Now he's back.
Oh,
there he is. Hey, Doc.
Conspiracy Corgan and Gerrymander Joe. I don't know.
All right. So anyway, the La Rebelión versus the End. This is a big matchup between two great new teams in the NWA. Just good looking teams too. Either one of them have the possibility of being future tag team champions. La Rebelión is coming to the NWA on a special agreement they announced from AAA, which is very cool to see. Not only AEW now, but now there's NWA is making deals with AAA. So you can kind of go back to what Mickey James was talking about, like pulling from everywhere. It's something Corgan's also been talking about regularly, just the doors opening for all promotions to work together. This is just more of that. I mean, he's proving himself here that he's willing to do business. But this matchup, these two teams, they're both the more brutal side of tag team wrestling and crazier side of tag team wrestlers, the win at any cost side of tag team wrestling. And when you combine those two things in the ring, sometimes you don't get a nice, lovely finish. You just get a brawl, a vicious beat down. Well, not even vicious beat down. Like both guys, neither one beat down the other. They just ended up in the back and just kind of left after referee Robert King just finally decided that there was no order to be had in this matchup and just called the match, just no contest. So Will, as the resident tag team guy, how'd you feel about these two teams?
Yeah, I mean, this was just strength versus athleticism. It was a huge styles clash, but at the same time, you're right. The spirit of each of these teams is exactly the same. It is win at all costs, decimate your opponent. I mean, and you put these two teams, four combustible forces in the ring together, and you're going to get a no contest. You're going to reach a point where I agree with Robert King, just saying, listen, this is not happening. This is not going to end in a fair fight. You put those four guys in a ring 10 more times, you'll still have zero finishes to the match because these guys are going to do everything they can to just destroy each other and everything and everyone in their path. So I don't know that we're going to see a reprisal of this match, but I think what it did was remind us exactly what has come to the tag team division in the NWA, right? This is not your grandma's tag team division. This is a division full of different styles, different teams, different walks of life, different areas of the world. This is a global tag team, section of this promotion, and it's more intriguing than I've ever seen it in the NWA. So I am excited about the future of the tag team division in the NWA. I don't know if everyone else in the tag team division was watching that match. If they were, then they have a lot to be fearful of, because that's two teams in the NWA tag team division that are damn near unstoppable, and they can't even finish a match together. So I don't know what havoc that each of these teams is going to wreak across the division, but it's going to be monstrous.
Man, I mean, we blinked our eyes and suddenly the NWA became the hottest tag team promotion in the world. I mean, think about it. Hawx, right? Strictly Business, the War Kings, The End, Aaron Stevens, and Kratos. What in the world happened when we woke up? In 24 hours, it seems like. This became the premier tag team promotion, bar none. And, you know, I love my boys, Gary, Will. One of the things I like about a relationship is we can hash it out. We can speak our mind. I can speak truth to power to these two guys. But at the end of the day, we can still enjoy when other people find true joy in the sport. And I love seeing Will get giddy about tag team wrestling. And he has every right to be giddy. This match was fantastic. These two teams, man, where in the world are they going to go? What can contain them? Are they even capable of winning the tag team championships? And what I mean by that is not, are they physically capable, or this is not a question of skill. This is a question of like intensity, of meanness, of brutality. Can you have a team like La Rebelión or The End capture those tag team titles and show the discipline it takes to be champions in an organization like the NWA? That's the question I have. But I'm going to tell you right now, the future of the tag team division in the NWA is very bright. Right now, I don't care where you are, in what big league promotion or wherever, I don't care who you are. Tag team wrestling is the hottest in the NWA right now, bar none. And I will argue that point with anyone.
Yep. Top to bottom.
So yeah, I mean, I totally agree. And also, I mean, this matchup just brings another style to the NWA too. I mean, we first saw it at When Our Shadows Fall, and now this. I mean, having the luchador style involved in the NWA, while it may not be for everybody, it just enhances the palette of like the styles of wrestling matches that can occur in the NWA, and just and that anybody is welcome. All competition is there to be had in the NWA. And so we're just, it's cool to see guys like Mecha Wolf and BCS 666 come in and want to prove their mettle in the NWA. You don't come from AAA to the NWA if you don't value those tag team titles. So it adds to the prestige there, I think. The basic, so here we are. I mean, the thing we're dealing with here is that Camille has her coronation, like her official coronation. I believe that was pretty much our next thing on the card, and it was just Aldis had agreed at the opening promo to second her, and he walked her out to the ring with the flowers and presented the flowers to her, and there you go. All that wrapped up with the idea that Trevor Murdoch was interviewed in the backstage by Mae Valentine, which was the part we skipped a little bit of, where Trevor talking about he's done all he can do, and he's wondering like what else he could do to, you know, Trevor. Mae is so sweet, but she was also very sweetly cold with Trevor. It felt like as in she was asking him. I mean, I'll give her this. She does not hold off on tough questions. It doesn't matter who you are. And so, you know, she's giving him the very, you did do your best. And, you know, it just felt like, wow. Yeah. So what's that say? And that's the exact question Trevor's having to ask himself. And he's like, I don't even know how to answer that really. Like I've done everything I can. I would say to Trevor, if he were here, which he's not this week, but could be on another week, so guard your words, Doc, that Trevor should try again, because, I mean, that match didn't end because Trevor Murdoch wasn't the better wrestler. That was not what we saw on Sunday night. Trevor Murdoch, in my opinion, from my analysis, from my point of view at that pay-per-view, Trevor Murdoch had that match won. Trevor Murdoch was about to be the real world's heavyweight champion and honor the legacy that his trainer Harley Race presented. And if it's for me in St. Louis, at the home of Harley Race, in the chase, all that legacy behind him, Trevor Murdoch's got to work his way back into that title picture again. That's what I think. But feel free to slap me down, Doc. I'm ready.
Well, let me back you up, first of all, to the cold questioning of Mae Valentine. And let me preface this by saying, Mae, if you're listening, please understand, you know that we're friends, and I appreciate you and I respect you. But I had a hard time listening to this line of question. I mean, we're talking about cold questioning, Gary. cold questioning. This may be the most one-sided journalistic performance that I've seen yet from Mae Valentine. She opens the line of questioning with the words, "I had hoped to ask you this under different circumstances." What happened to objectivity in reporting? What do you mean you hoped? That just tells me that the fix is in, Gary. She wanted to come out here and address him as a world champion, and therefore she tipped her in that she is not, in fact, an objective reporter, at least when it comes to Trevor Murdoch. And then we got to hear the same speech once again. Let me tell you something. When Nick Aldis, by the way, and I've said this before, when Nick Aldis says he can't be beat, he's lying. He can be beat. You know how I know that? Because he's been beaten one time, Gary, once in the last 3 or 4 years. One time. And when it happened, did you see him come out and cry and complain and moan about this and that and whatever? No. You don't cry over spilt milk. You get up. This is a business. This is a business where you strive for the top at any cost, and you dust yourself off, and if you're truly championship caliber, then you climb your way back up there. Here's the problem, though, Gary. Murdoch did not belong in this contest in the first place. This is part of Gerrymander Joe and Conspiracy Corgan's conspiracy to unseat a man that they clearly do not like, and they clearly can't see that this is the person who's elevated the company. All right? He didn't deserve to be in this place in the first place. Now, if he works his way up, though he is a barroom brawler, though he is not the man that should be the diplomat that represents the company with the history and prestige of the National Wrestling Alliance, if he can do that, should he get in there? Yes. I'm the first to say it. I don't disrespect Trevor Murdoch. When he was on this show, I questioned him. I gave him the hard questions. Did I not?
When you're talking to us right now and you have the headphones in so you can hear the show, like, does your feed come in through so you can hear what you're saying?
Cute. That's cute. Just answer my question.
No, because the garbage that you're spewing now makes no sense. Everything you're saying is illogical. Nothing. You're getting upset with Trevor Murdoch and talking about Trevor Murdoch's performance based on Mae Valentine's line of questioning. That's just
no. You saw. Don't even try that, man. Line of questioning.
Trevor Murdoch has not been out there.
The media in this company is biased, Gary. It's biased. You're biased. Will is biased. Gerrymander Joe is biased. Evidently, even my friend Mae Valentine is biased. So don't even come at me with objectivity and reporting. And then
explain to me what happened at the end of that matchup.
You explain to me the pictures that are floating around.
And people, if you haven't seen it, go on Fight TV right now. You can
taking a steel chair across the back of the champion. How is that honorable? How is that honorable, Gary? You saw the pictures. It's on social media.
Wait a minute. You just skipped like 10 minutes of the ending when you say that. How did the match end after Trevor Murdoch had pinned Nick Aldis?
You're really gonna show that much contempt and disdain for myself, our viewing audience at home? Like you didn't see what happened? We didn't see the same thing? It is amazing.
I saw Tom Latimer run out to the ring. He ran out to the ring with a chair. What happened? Go ahead, describe in detail. Can you tell me? I'll tell you what happened. Nick Aldis hit the referee with a steel chair.
Yes, he did. Nah, come on now. I've hit you with less weight than Nick Aldis did with Robert King. Okay, a man has a breaking point. Seeing Robert King push the champion during the match, so one-sided calling of the match. Clearly, I want to know who pays this man's salary, this referee's salary. And then Tom Latimer backstage, seeing what's going on, realizing that the fix is in. Yeah, Tom Latimer's a hothead. We know him. You've talked to him. He's a hothead. He's got a tipper. He comes out with a steel chair, about to go after the referee. What does Nick Aldis do? Thinking about the prestige, honor, and lineage of that championship, he does something better to Robert King than what Tom Latimer most certainly would have done. And he saved that ref. He saved the ref. He moved him out of the way and ushered Tom back to the backstage so that he can continue on with the chase to 1,000 days. That's exactly what happened. What happened.
The spin. The amount of spin. You are dizzy now, I'm sure. So let me just say that nothing about what Trevor is saying in this interview or in the interview post that matchup ever did anything but take ownership of the situation. Trevor Murdoch.
Oh, yeah.
Trevor Murdoch said he is doing his best. He is trying hard. Trevor Murdoch's not the one saying this. I'm saying this, that every time Trevor Murdoch has stepped in the ring with Nick Aldis, barring that first time on episode 12 of NWA Powerrr, they had a great matchup and Trevor slipped up and Nick Aldis got the clean win. That's fine. But every interaction since, it hasn't been Trevor Murdoch facing off with Nick Aldis. It's been Trevor Murdoch facing off with Strictly Business. If you take Strictly Business out of this equation and you just put Trevor Murdoch and Nick Aldis one-on-one for that world title, I don't know. We see 1,000.
Now, that's where you're wrong, Gary. It's not been Trevor Murdoch versus Strictly Business. It's been Nick Aldis versus Trevor Murdoch versus Conspiracy Corgan versus Irish Pat Kenny versus Gerrymander Joe Galley. It's been him against the whole establishment, the fake news establishment that is creeping its way into the NWA. You will. May Valentine, evidently, it breaks my heart to say that. It's not been Trevor against Strictly Business. It's been Nick Aldis versus the world. Versus the world, Gary. And you know it's true.
Well, what do you say?
If there's one thing I've learned from Facebook, having a Facebook account, it's that you can't argue with people that are in this space. So I just want to bring us back because there's one thing we didn't talk about, and that is the end of the coronation ceremony. We had Melina run out and apparently had some words for Camille, and that was thwarted by a pretty surprising ally, I guess you could say, to Camille, and that would be genocide. And we haven't even talked about that. That was the last thing that happened on the show. So I'm sure we've got a full season to talk some more and to yell at each other about Trevor Murdoch and conspiracies. But the question on my mind and everyone else's mind that watched Powerrr tonight is, why did genocide come out and take Melina out of the ring so that Camille could have her coronation?
Because that's how Strictly Business operates, Will. That's how they've always operated. That's what they do right from the beginning. And when they don't have to.
I tried, everyone.
And when they don't have to.
Thank you, Will.
When they don't have to.
No, respect for that, Will. Maybe you're not in on the fix, Will. Maybe I need to walk it back when it comes to you.
Listen,
because Gary can't acknowledge that someone like genocide, a professional athlete, can come out and acknowledge the great event that's going on and not allow someone like Melina to disrupt something. So I thank you, Will, for saying that. Gary, shame on you.
Whatever. Listen, man, you want to talk about people that are privileged. Listen, I mean, Mr. PhD over here, he may not recognize what the common people like us have to deal with every day, but it's exactly this sort of thing. It's this kind of thing where a man like Trevor Murdoch has to work himself up the ladder and he gets there. And then there's a man who is talented beyond all belief, but still stacks the deck, even when they don't have to. They can't share the wealth. They can't compete fairly. They get into a position and they hold others down, put their foot on the head and make them drown. That's what Nick Aldis does. Camille, does she need help? No, she doesn't need help. But whatever deal she's got worked out with genocide, God help her if it turns sour, because genocide will chop her down just like everybody else, just like Trevor Murdoch will Nick Aldis, if he ever gets him alone in the ring and Nick Aldis has nowhere else to go.
Man, you and Joe Galley both went to the Mad Magazine School for Broadcast Journalism, evidently.
Okay, whatever. I'm just saying that you can number the days because his days are numbered, my friend. Pope, Trevor Murdoch.
Oh, they're numbered. Today is day 962. They're numbered for sure. No doubt about that. That's the one correct thing you said all night, Gary.
I'm just saying, get ready because he's got challengers coming. And one of them might be the last guy he just fought and would have lost to had it not been for the interference of his buddies.
Yeah, well, you know what? You're a poor man's Geraldo Rivera. That's what you are, Gary. A poor man's Geraldo Rivera.
You're a poor man's
cool.
Axl Rose. I don't know.
And I'm just a poor man. Hey, all right. Thanks for watching, everyone.
Yeah. All right. We got to wrap this thing up. It's been long enough. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you for hanging out. We hope you enjoyed the special appearances, at least from Nick Aldis and Mickie James here on the show tonight, and the rundown of NWA Powerrr episode or season 5, episode 1. And this was a big night. Lots to talk about. We went a little over. We're glad you're all here. And, well, there's clearly things are heating up in the NWA, and I don't see any chance of them slowing down now. So I'm excited to see what happens next week. Whatever it is, we're going to be here with you. That's myself, Dr. Stinson here. This is Dr. Stinson This is Wil Martin here. We have our own show, by the way, in case you haven't subscribed already, over at This Is Pro Wrestling. It's youtube.com/This Is Pro Wrestling. We're also available on all podcast feeds. Please check us out. We do lots of other stuff, and we talk about lots of other wrestling and everything else. So, just keep that in mind. If you're interested in wrestling discussion, we're here to help. And anything else you guys want to talk about?
Yep.
Man, I'm heading to Mexico tonight. I'll be coming to you guys Sunday from AAA country, and we hope to catch some good wrestling there, and I'll bring some reports about that on the Sunday night show over at our TIPW show channel. So love you guys, man. And despite your idiocy, I love you guys too.
Thanks so
Rob,
much.
Rob, do all of us a favor and pick up a nice lucha mask while you're out there. And then
I got you, man. I got you.
That would be kind of cool, actually.
Yeah, do us a favor and get one for you.
Oh man, whatever. Anyway,
I'm kidding.
Can't hide money. That's what I'm saying. You see that? The privilege, just.
Hey, bro. Hey, Gary. It's academic, man. Strictly academic.
Oh,
all right. Well, yeah. That's the new catchphrase in case you missed that. All right. Yeah. Well, thanks everybody for tuning in. Honestly, we're grateful. We're grateful for you being here. We love having you guys around, especially everybody in the chat. I know we ran out of time and didn't get to talk much to you guys, but next week we'll be sure to catch up with everybody. And make sure you tweet. Let us know what you thought about this week's episode of NWA Power. We want to know. We want to talk about it. We'll keep the conversation going all up until next week for NWA on Tuesday nights, 6:05. And until then, though, everyone, please